Just want to be clear, I can choose to live anywhere in the United States, either big city like New York City or a small town in Arkansas or Alabama. The reason I can choose anywhere I can live is because I work remote as a software product designer. So I live in a big city and a small town. So I live in New York City and also a really tiny town in Roanoke, Arkansas. So it's about 5,000 populations. And you're gonna hear the reason why I chose to live small town over big cities. It's not because of family, it's not because of finance. There's a major reason, all right? So there's a story I want to tell, and it will make more sense if you hear that story, right? So it was maybe 2 months ago. It was raining really, really hard, pouring down rain, and my brother, he was driving to a grocery store to pick up something, and it was like pretty urgent. So he got on the car in the rain, and drove to the grocery store. While he was driving, right, the rain got so big, and keep in mind the car is pretty old, about 2008 car, and it had like over 120,000 miles on it. So it was he didn't know the car was leaking a little bit under the hood. It was leaking, and while he was doing a right turn, the tire lost control. He sort of changed the tire at like every maybe like 40 or 50,000 miles or something, but he never changed the tire. So tire was like real smooth, right? And then when he made the right turn, the tire kind of couldn't get a grip of the road, and he ran straight into a stop sign, right? So the stop sign just ran into the hole of the tire, right? It got stuck, and he got stuck, and he couldn't even get out. He pushed the pedal, tried to reverse it. He couldn't because the stick was literally kind of just stuck right in the tire, right? And it was raining really, really hard, so he was just sitting there, and something magical happened. He sat there for like maybe 10 minutes. A person stopped his car in the middle of the rain. It wasn't it wasn't any kind of person. It was a lady. She stopped and checked on my brother and asked him, "Do you need any help? Are you okay? Do you want me to go get you some food? Do you want me to call somebody? Is your phone? Can your phone ring?" And my brother was like, "It's okay. Thank you so much for stopping. I think he's calling me to come help him like get like a tow truck. He already got like a tow truck and stuff coming. Maybe he's thinking about just calling a tow truck." He said, "I really, really appreciate you." He thought that was the end of it. Maybe he had a lucky day. Maybe he had a lucky day that someone tried to help him, right? 3 minutes later, after the lady left, another guy came over. This time he had a big truck. He was like, "Hey, how you doing? Like, you look like you're in trouble. Do you need any help?" And my brother was kind of shocked. Like there's another person, a total stranger, that was willing to help you. And my brother was like, "Oh, yes, you look like you had a truck. Maybe you can like pull me out of that stop sign because it literally just stuck." And the guy decided to like hook the truck uh, onto his SUV, right, and then kind of just pull him out because he was kind of stuck in a ditch, and the stop sign was kind of like in between the tire. He was able to get the stop sign out of the tire that was stuck under it, and then pull him out of the ditch. While he got it finished, right, he said, "Do you need any more help? I can like drive behind you, make sure you're safe to get home." He said, "Oh, that's okay. I think I'll be fine." 5 minutes later, when he left right after he helped my brother got out of the car, got the car to the right position. 5 minutes later, another person came and make sure that my brother was okay. A span of 20 minutes, three strangers decided to help my brother, stuck in the middle, kind of in the middle of nowhere. And they don't even know him. He never helped him before. He never even asked for help. And the kind strangers actually lent a hand. At that moment, my brother was like, it doesn't matter if you're Republican or you're Democrat or you're a undecided. You have like any kind of like belief in religion. What kind of religion you have, it doesn't matter what kind of race you have. He is clearly Asian like me, and at that struggling time, somebody was willing to help out. And that kind of just reminded me why small town living is way better than big town living. I can tell you many more stories about living in a small town. It's just the connected community is way stronger than living in a big city. I live in the big city for about 6 months in New York City. No matter how big the city is, no matter how big the population is, if you don't know anybody and you never feel the connection around your neighbors, around your friends, or you can't make any friends, the city just feels very, very lonely. What made the place special is because the people inside of it. If you live in the town that's only like 1,000 population, but you have the best friends that live with you, or a kind neighbor that always care about you, that little town means the whole world to you. It's like the town is living getting lonely, like the whole 1,000 population care about you. But if you live in big city like New York, which is millions of populations, and technically, while I was living in New York, I did feel very, very lonely. Cause all I know was my cousin there, and neighbors was not friendly. People walking down the street, they always in their very fast-paced life, and they really never stopped to help me. Like if I had a car accident, I don't think people will help me in your city, but a small town like that, somebody is willing to use the truck to help you. Let's say, like, let me give you another example why small town living was great for me personally, right? I moved to a small town around like maybe at 11 years old in Arkansas, right? For the 4,000 population, and I moved in with my parents. And my neighbor, he's a very pretty wealthy dude, right? He manages a company, and he flies out to work, and he's a pretty wealthy dude. But the house that we are renting is not that great. It's about like 1,200 something per month. But I don't know why the big fancy house is decided to build next to my house, right? And around 11 years old, I had a passion of playing basketball. I thought I was gonna be like Jeremy Lin, and I was gonna make it into NBA and stuff. So I played basketball a lot in school. And when I come home, I was like, I want to practice some more basketball. And I saw my neighbor, right? He had a basketball goal, but it was like really old and rusty and stuff. But I still want to try, and I want to play basketball to practice. So I want to get better at playing basketball. So I decided to ask him, hey, can I play basketball on your basketball goal? And he was like, oh, sorry, little baby. The basketball goal is like very, very old. If you shoot on it, everything just fall apart. I was sad, not being honest, I was really sad that my neighbor didn't let me play the basketball goal. It looked fine. I thought I could shoot a couple shots and then just go home. But he said, no, it's okay. It's kind of dangerous, right? And keep in mind that it's like 5 days before Christmas. So guess what? On Christmas Day, my neighbor decided to go out his way and bought us a basketball goal as a present. I was like really, really shocked when I saw it in the morning. He actually wrapped it really, really well with a nice bow on the top of it. And I remember I woke up around 7:30 on Christmas Day, opened the door, there was a gigantic box right in front of me. I was like, what is this? Did my parents got me something? It's like humongous. I just couldn't figure out what it is until me and my brother, we are too excited to just take a guess. We just unwrapped it so fast, and we were like so excited. It's a actual basketball goal, and all we had to do is piece it together. And keep in mind that basketball goal is not cheap. It's like $350, and it's like a really nice basketball goal that he got it for us. He didn't have to, but he kind of, I don't know, think that we are really cute, two little guys, and he wanna make us feel better. And I feel like that is just a wholesome moment living in a small town that if you live in a big city, I don't think you can enjoy that. Granted, like I got lucky that I had like a really, really nice neighborhood that took care of me while I was young, right? Or when I even graduated high school, they give us $100 each as a graduation gift, which is crazy. Like neighbors giving you money out of the blue, nobody really heard of, right? They are the best neighbors in the world. And these kind of experience, like my brother getting into a kind of car accident, and there are a lot of people coming to help him. That's like small town kind of feeling, right? And if you get lucky enough, you go to a small town and you have really nice neighbors. They give you gifts on graduation day. They help you, right? And I even have my neighbor to help me read through my resume to make sure that my resume is up to date and make sure that I am like I can find jobs, right? I was having trouble finding jobs and neighbors really helped me. And thinking back, I lived in New York for like 6 months. I didn't really hate it, but I feel really, really lonely because I couldn't really connect to anyone like the way I connected with old people in the small town that I live in. At the end of the day, the people that you connect with matter the most. Doesn't matter where you live, right? If you live in a city that is humongous, you got all the fancy restaurants and you got all the cool sceneries. You just walk in, do you feel lonely inside? Even if the restaurant is super nice, one meal costs $500, but if you eat it alone, does it taste good? Does it taste bitter? Does it taste loneliness, right? In a big city. I mean, in a big city, you can have a lot more events, and even you can also have a lot of friends too. You can make a lot of friends from coworkers to online dating. You can make a bunch of friends. But another thing about big city is housing price is so expensive. Like New York City, you gotta have at least $1 million to buy a house in Brooklyn, New York, and the tax is about 20,000 per year, compared to like a southern state like Missouri or Arkansas where you can buy a brand new house for $300,000 and you only have to pay maybe 1,000 to 2,000 per year, and you live in like a mansion. Not to mention the houses are brand new, 2024, 2,000 square foot, wooden floor. What you get in Manhattan or New York, maybe in Brooklyn, New York, Chinatown, you spend $800,000 and the house is built in 1988, which is not something I want, right? But there's so many people there and high demand. People will buy the house. But you can use the $800,000 house and you buy 3 houses in Arkansas. 3 houses, and you can say like, oh, there's not enough restaurants. Well, yeah, there's not like expensive restaurants, but they have essentials like Chick-fil-A, Starbucks, McDonald's, KFC. I love fast food, so I'm naming some random fast food that I like. That's what I like about living like in small town. I know some people like grew up in a big city and they actually moved to a small town. Like my parents own a restaurant, and some people from San Francisco they actually moved to Arkansas to my town because they feel like cost of living is way too expensive, because constantly every single day they think about how they gonna pay the rent, how they gonna pay the property tax, how they gonna pay the car insurance. That just put a strain in their daily life. How do you find joy when the cost of living just eating you up? Like, but at the same time, someone living in New York for their whole life and they move to little tiny town, they feel like there's nothing to do. Well, there's nothing to do is because you haven't found the right people inside the place, the location. When you find the right person, you feel a lot more happier. Trust me, right? So I grew up in a small town, moved to a big city, didn't really like it, so I moved back to a small town now with my girlfriend. And it's not like small, it's about 10,000 people here, and Starbucks is 5 minutes away, Chick-fil-A is 2 minutes away, Home Depot is 3 minutes away. Everything is so close, so convenient. I can walk to the park in 3 minutes, and that's the best quality of life because the housing around here is so cheap too. $300,000 house, you can buy a brand new house, right? Oh, you can buy a bit older house for 150,000, and you can basically get the same square foot, but it costs like $800,000 in New York City. That's kind of like the big difference that you gotta make if you want to start a kid in small towns. You're gonna have a way better life. Only if you can find a job in small town, right? You're not gonna have any crazy expense. Small towns are great for raising families. Big cities are great for if you have friends you wanna go out. It's great. You got so many restaurants, got so many scenes, so many parks. You're never gonna get bored. Like New York City is the city that never sleeps. Chicago is the same. It never really sleeps. But what matters the most is the people inside the location that you live, the people inside the city that you live, the people inside the small town that you live. That's what made that place special.